How to conduct a case study. So let's first recap what is a case study. A case study is used to study a particular situation in depth. It is not possible to generalize from the findings of a case study, but it can be used to test whether and how theories and scientific models work in the real world. It is qualitative, not quantitative research, which can give rise to hypotheses and new directions in research. It is often used in the social sciences. Conducting case studies gives you a chance to draw from your knowledge and research, practice your skills of analysis and reasoning, and draw conclusions. As a case study is taken from real life, it can be complex, and different readers of your case study may draw different conclusions. Two sets of steps for review and discussion. Shuttleworth 2008, Eisenhart 1999. So, steps in a case study. Let's look at the Shuttleworth. Choose your case study problem. Research the problem. Next, interview people. Prepare questions that will help you understand their opinions, will give you information you can't get from textbooks or articles. Are often open-ended. That is, they can't be answered with yes or no. Sort through your information, what is relevant and what isn't. Does your case study problem or guiding question need to be modified? Do you need more information or do you need to do more research? Then break the problem down into parts. Analyze the information in each part, and then think about what the answer to the problem might be. Next, write up your case study. That is, in your write-up, you'll introduce the problem or guiding question, give the background to the case study, present the information you have discovered, perhaps under headings, evaluate and analyze the information, and then summarize your findings in a conclusion. But remember that a case study may not always produce a neat conclusion. And then finally, check that your points flow logically and that you have restricted your writing to the case study problem. Steps to build theory from case study research. This is Eisenhart. Getting started, selecting cases, crafting instruments and protocols, entering the field, analyzing within case data, searching for cross-case patterns, shaping hypotheses, unfolding literature, and then finally reaching closure.
So now we're going to go into detail of each of these steps of the Eisenhart case study process. So first, in getting started, the activity that you should begin with is definition of your research question. Are there any possible a priori constructs? This is neither theory nor hypotheses. The reason that you want to do these activities is, one, to focus your efforts, and it provides better grounding of construct measures, and it retains theoretical flexibility, which is really important so that you're not going ahead and putting forward a theory that may not be based on facts. The second step is selecting cases. During this portion, you will specify your population or what you're going to study, and this is theoretical, not random sampling. The reason for doing this is that it constrains extraneous variation and sharpens external validity. It also focuses efforts on theoretically useful cases, those that replicate or extend theory by filling conceptual categories. The third step is crafting instruments and protocols. During this step, you will be collecting data from multiple methods, qualitative, quantitative data combined, and you will have multiple investigators. The reason for doing this is that it strengthens grounding of theory by triangulation of evidence. So if you're using multiple data collection methods, that helps in building a theory. Synergistic view of evidence, so the evidence actually starts to work together synergistically, and it also fosters divergent perspectives and strengthens grounding. The fourth step is entering the field. So during this, the activity that you will be taking on, you overlap data collection and analysis, including field notes, flexible and opportunistic data collection methods. So what this means is that if you get to this point, you may start to change how you're doing things based on what you've already learned or based on what's becoming evident. The reason for this is that it speeds up the analysis and reveals helpful adjustments to data. It allows investigators to take advantage of emergent themes and unique case features. The fifth step is analyzing the data. So the activity here is within case analysis, and you also have cross-case pattern searching using divergent techniques. The reason for doing this is that it gains familiarity with data and preliminary theory generation. It forces investigators to look beyond initial impressions and see evidence through multiple lenses. The sixth step is shaping hypotheses. Here, the activity includes iterative tabulation of evidence for each construct, replication, not sampling, logic across cases, search for evidence for why behind relationships. The reason for doing this is that it sharpens the construct definition, validity, and measurability. It confirms, extends, and sharpens theory, and builds internal validity. The seventh step is enfolding literature. So here the activity is comparison with conflicting literature and comparison with similar literature. It's very important to look at both of these. The reason here is that it builds internal validity, raises theoretical level, and sharpens construct definitions. It sharpens generalizability, improves construct definition, and raises theoretical level. And finally, reaching closure. Here, theoretical saturation, when possible, is what you're looking for. And the reason is that ends process when marginal improvement becomes small. Advantage of theory building from cases. So here, likelihood of generating novel theory. The emergent theory is likely to be testable with constructs that can be readily measured and hypotheses that can be proven false. And the resultant theory is likely to become empirically valid. Disadvantages of theory building from case studies include the intensive use of empirical evidence can yield theory which is overly complex, and building theory from cases may result in narrow and idiosyncratic theory. A rigorous case study must have the following qualities. First, a rationale for studying the case study. 2, a detailed description of the facts related to the case. 3, a description of the data you collected. 4, a discussion of the patterns you found. And 5, a connection to the larger scheme of things. This concludes how to conduct a case study.